Welcome to the Next Penny Bed. Now introducing our guest speaker, Bachand.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, have you ever had a moment in your life when you just arrive in a moment and you just feel the environment there's something you can't put to words, but it just touches you inside? Maybe it's you go on a vacation and you stand there and you look out and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is, but there's something about this place that is just moving me. Maybe it's you go to a restaurant, you go to an event and you lock eyes with someone and you don't know why, but you're just drawn to speak to them. You just feel it in your heart. Maybe it's a sense of when you're out and about that you have a circumstance that you meet someone and it just ignites a newness. 15 years ago, I had a moment that changed my life. It was a really ordinary moment. I had a super long day at work. I came home, I changed, and I went for a walk. I lived in Boston. And I was out about walking around when I was coming down this sidewalk and it was bricks. And all of a sudden I stopped. And as I stopped, I looked over and there were two couples coming out of a restaurant. And these two couples were saying goodnight to each other. Hey, thanks for dinner. Good to see you. We'll see each other in a few weeks. And I remember staring over at these two couples saying goodnight. And in my heart, I was like, I want that. I want that. And they left and went their separate ways, and I continued down the sidewalk. I crossed the street. I walked back to where I lived. And as I put my hand on the doorknob and crossed the threshold, all of a sudden, I was overcome with fear. I was riddled with anxiety because what I wanted was not the life I was leading. I was a Catholic priest. I was the private secretary to a cardinal. I worked at the Vatican. And my life was not exactly what that was. I wanted to be able to love another person. I wanted to stand in my truth as a gay man. I didn't want to hide behind a life that was beautiful, and I loved being of service, but I wanted to be free. I wanted so bad to be free. And as I put my hand on that handle, and for that one block walking, I visualized a freedom. I visualized coming out of a restaurant at night with my partner, saying goodnight. I visualized traveling. I visualized being free. I visualized being at Christmas with a family. But that wasn't my reality. I was trapped in this fear of what would people think? How do I make money? What do I even do? Where do I live? And so what did I do? I just pushed it all down inside. I mean, have you ever done that? Yeah, it's kind of the safe way to do it. You push it down inside, you ignore it. So you know what happened? I just went on my way, but then it kept bubbling up. When you don't show up for what's showing up, it's gonna keep showing up. And it's gonna keep coming at you. Whether it's a job that you're like, oh, I hate this. If it's a relationship, you just keep trying to work, and you say, oh, it'll be better, it's okay. It's gonna keep showing up. And so for me, I just pushed it down. But magically, there was something that happened one day. I was making a bagel. How simple is that? And I was waiting for the bagel to come out of the toaster, and I had to do it a second time. And I remember in that moment, I simply had the word desire come to my mind. What is it that I deepest desire in my heart? And I said, it's to be free. I want that. And so what I did after that, I started being a little more open. I talked to a friend. I said, I just want to share this with you. This is what's going on. And then people started showing up in my life. Individuals that I never expected would kind of come into my life, share with me about their story, share with me what was going on. And truly, I knew and believed that was the universe working with me to help me to get to where I wanted to be. And I was allowing it. That was the difference. When we have the courage to own what we desire, when we have the courage to look at 10 years and think, what is it that I desire? I may not have the means right now, I may not know what to do, but if we own it, and if we want to stand in that truth, the universe will conspire to work with you. My topic when Reggie reached out to me was about spirituality. And I'm like, okay, spirituality is about life. Spirituality is about the heart. It doesn't matter what religion, what you believe, if you call it universe, source, God, angels, higher self, intuition. It is about the heart. It's about why we're here. It's about our desire. It's about what we want to be and how we want to live. So tonight, as you're gathered here and you're here together, you're here because there's something inside your heart that wants to have the most beautiful, life-giving, joyful life. I never would have imagined the night standing on that sidewalk that when I had the courage to move forward, that I would finally be able to leave. I went to New York City and became an executive, that I met a Canadian, that's why I moved to Toronto. That relationship didn't work out, but that's another whole topic for another time. But that led me to the person that I'm with now, that led me to having a great career, that led me to then starting my own company, and now bringing it all together with a sense of joy, a sense of love, and helping others own that joy, that love in your heart. Because when you own and you know what you desire, that is where the magic happens. The biggest thing that is the obstacle, and this is where I want to just toss this out tonight, is to ask yourself, what is it that you desire? Because desire is from the heart, desire is truth, and desire will never, ever lie to you. That's the greatest thing. When I left the priesthood and I went to New York City, I was told all these things when I left. Oh, you leave the priesthood, you'll never be blessed. Oh, all these things are going to happen. I ended up there and I was having the best life ever. I was having the most joyful life. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. All those things that I was told I'm not going to be blessed, I'm like, everything's happening. I'm getting lots of dates. I'm having a good time. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm like, what is this all going on? But desire is truth. Desire is beauty. Tonight we had our first amazing speaker about listening about desire. You mentioned that so well. Tonight is about opening the desire of our heart. So this is what I want you to do, and this is what I want you to pay attention to. Whatever that desire is that you're feeling and you have in your heart, even if you can't articulate it, and even if there's fear attached to it, oh my gosh, I want to start that company, but how am I going to make the money? Or I want to be married, or I want to do this. Just own it. Just simply own it. Just declare it. Declare it out loud to someone in the room tonight. You know what? My desire is to do this. Even if you don't know what the next right step is, the first step is owning it. Second, pay attention to what's going to keep showing up for you. Once you own something, the universe is going to be with you. You're going to magically meet someone at Starbucks when you're waiting in line, even though you have your app and you ordered it and it's still not ready and you're there waiting. All of a sudden you start talking to someone next to you and they might say something that all of a sudden you're like, wow, I didn't know you worked for that company. I wanted to speak to them for a long time. The universe is going to work with you in such a powerful way. And the third thing that's really, really important is don't be afraid to take the action. One of the greatest things about spirituality is, spirituality isn't about hiding. Spirituality isn't about just sitting and meditating all day and thinking everything's going to just happen. It's about taking action. It's about taking action from a place of love. It's about taking action from a place of openness. It's about taking action from a place of joy. And that is where the magic lives. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. I don't know about you, but I do that sometimes. Can you relate to that? Do you overthink sometimes? Totally. The gift of this is keep it simple. Keep it simple with the desire. Don't be afraid to take one step, another step, and be open. There's some amazing questions that came up in the first outbreak session tonight. And those questions, if something resonated for you, that's your desire speaking. If something touched your heart, that's something that's trying to get your attention. Maybe you're pushing it down. Pay attention to what it is and where it is. It will never lead you astray. Last thing I want to leave you with, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're connected. There's a reason why you signed up to come. Pay attention to what's leading you, because that is spirit. That is your spirituality of where you are and where you need to be. So I wanted to say one thing after that. I said that was the last thing, but it's not. You can tell I did a lot of homilies, so sometimes it went a longer. But I would simply want to leave you with this. One of the most beautiful things you can do is don't overplan. One of the great things is a great book called The Surrender Experiment. If you're looking for something that you're kind of like, oh, I want to be led, I'm looking for something, pick up this book called The Surrender Experiment. It is a beautiful book about paying attention to what shows up to you in your life. And oftentimes, those are the steps to take or the opportunity to look at. When you surrender and you're a little more open, you'll be amazed at the things that can happen. Never in my wildest dreams, that night on the sidewalk, did I ever think that a year later, I would be giving my resignation and going to New York City with my little U-Haul, $10,000, and starting a whole new life in Manhattan. Never could I have imagined. And it was one of the greatest gifts. Trust the desire, trust yourself, and know that you will always be guided. You're amazing. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.